Flash, still successful. You cannot beat me.
Okay, so let's start with...
I'm an
Is everybody here? Everybody should be here. Everybody should be right over here. Okay, let's start with some basic things. I don't want anybody shooting. I should be able to hear my voice and not be distracted, okay? If I am getting distracted, I will stop until the shooting and or explosions and or random stuff stops, okay? I want everybody to listen to the next thing I'm going to say. If you are going to be here, you need to act on your action of being here. Okay? What do I mean by that?
That we behave well.
No. No. Besides that if you're going to say, I'm interested in leadership, then you actually flippin' do it. Don't just be sheepish. Don't be shy. Don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry about failing. You're going to do your job the same way as if you were doing your job as an infantry guy, okay? So, let's start with another question. So everybody get down in the building so this guy understands we're not interested in whatever he's up to. Okay? What is leadership? I want one person to tell me what is leadership.
Oh, leading from the back.
No.
What?
Leading from the front, supporting your teammates, and making sure that things are being done correctly and managing everything as efficiently as you can.
Somebody else?
I've been told that you're supposed to lead from behind everybody and help everybody push along.
Anybody
That's
else?
what
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Whatever you've been taught, that's what I'm asking. I want to know everybody's definition. Does anybody else have one they have to say or want to say? Whoever's in that Sunday, stop shooting, please. Just get in the building. Thank you. Go. Who was that one person?
Lead by example.
Okay. Leadership is the ability to inspire others to perform a specific task and or action and or behavior, okay, and be an example and a servant to those around you. In B tier, leadership is going to be you are leading from the front. You are the first man in, you are the last one out. So that being said, obviously there's exceptions to all that, okay? Those being having to get a gal, stuff like that. But you need to be sure that when there's a push, you are the first person through the door, the first one getting shot. And if we are leaving a battlefield on Sunday, you be the last person that leaves. And make sure your entire squad is with you, unless they're absolutely not listening. Okay, who's shooting right now? Honestly, I just finished talking about don't shoot. Thank you.
I'm gonna say something, guys. Every time we are doing this, remember there's a couple of other guys who are pretty much, quote unquote, wasting their time. Not really wasting their time, but every interruption that you guys are going to do is just gonna screw everybody up. So don't fire your weapon. Don't be running around. Just pay attention.
Again, this is not required. You are more than welcome to leave at any point. If you are going to stay, you are going to be a disciplined member of the group. You are going to try and entertain yourselves in other ways while still paying attention. Okay? But I need to be able to talk and not get distracted. Firing your weapon, loading explosives up and blowing them up for no reason, that's going to cause me to lose my train of thought, which is going to screw everything up. Okay? Is that clear? Is there anybody else needs any kind of more explanation on that?
No, sir.
Can we just have everybody pull out their knives?
No. You guys, I'm trusting you guys. You guys need to learn how to be disciplined. If you're going to be in leadership, you have to be the example. And the example of a good B tier member is a disciplined force member. Okay? You are holding your position. If you're holding a door or a stairway, you hold that position. So if I decide to hold this doorway or this stair, I'm not running around with my head cut off. I am not the infiltrator. I'm not a medic. I am a freaking soldier. I have a freaking heavy machine gun or a light machine gun. I'm gonna hold these stairs. That's your job. Pull into cover, obviously, but your job is to be the example. I don't care at what level of leadership you are in the squads, at any point. And you know what? Leadership isn't about just being platoon lead and squad lead. Leadership is being the best member possible as best you can. Not being perfect. I don't want to see perfection because that's impossible. And if you tell me you're perfect, that's wrong. Okay?
I wonder
But
if this guy's just really
you
confused
are
as to why we're all
going
here.
to be
Scary.
the best shining example. Is that clear? So if you cannot be disciplined, get out now. Because I want people of discipline to be part of this. Capiche?
Just to add to what Gino is saying, guys, I mean, we're not hoping that everybody becomes squad leader at this point, but if you're 50-50 on doing squad leading, he does not need you right now. He's looking for players who will actually lead squads. There's a couple of guys here that are doing it, and they're doing it really well, and we want everybody to get an opportunity to do that. We want you guys to be as good as your squad leaders. You guys have seen Gino, me, and some of the other guys. They do a lot of the squad leading, platoon leading. We're looking for those players, and the reason why is you guys are running out of squad leaders and platoon leaders. So if you guys are interested in shooting, you guys can go ahead, because we want full attention for this, and Gino definitely needs the squad leaders at this point.
Yeah. Well, again, you know what? I am actually going to say that I am looking for people to lead in the future and now, both. Okay, because I need them now, and I'll need them in the future, and I need you guys to be trying now to find out if you can do it. Right? If you can't do it, there's no shame in that. But again, leadership doesn't stop at you being a squad leader or being a platoon leader or being a commander or part of the council. Okay? Leadership is in every choice you make. You're going to be the example of what a B tier guy is supposed to look like. And that's not perfection. Again, that is not perfection. But that is when they look at us, we're not running around like our heads cut off. And oh, I see a lib way over here. Oh, I'm gonna go and shoot him, and I'm outside of the building. I'm not with my squad. That's not what we need. And I'm gonna start getting back on track with kicking people that are doing that, right? So
real quick, not to cut you off, but
Yep.
I think this guy's gun is glitched over here.
I
I don't know if that's happening for anybody else.
I don't see
the guy
it.
who's not.
It's probably just for you.
Nikolai, yeah, he's switching his gun.
No, it's this dude who's standing on the cabinet.
Okay,
right here.
then let's move to the
Oh,
other
the
building.
flare.
Let's move to another building. Follow me. We're gonna go over. Follow the big star. Okay, so following in with what I've been saying, guys, is if you're going to squad lead, you need to just do it. Okay, there's no easy way to do it. There's no easy time to do it. There's no convenient time to do it. It's just doing it or not. If you're going to do it, then do it. Right? Just pick it up and go. If you really don't feel like it, fine. That's okay. There's no shame in it. Okay? But at the same time, if you're going to, you do it. Right? And be confident. If it's the wrong decision, it doesn't matter.
Sorry.
Okay? It honestly doesn't matter if it's the wrong decision. You're the one making the decision. You're the one that's going to have the balls enough to make the decision. So nobody better freaking judge you for that decision. Because if they do, they can try and lead themselves. Okay? Do you think Gino is perfect? Do you think Gino doesn't make mistakes? Gino makes a ton of mistakes. I'm so sorry. We'll tell you the amount of mistakes I make. Okay? He can see them because he knows how it works and he knows how I work, right? And you guys eventually will pick it up too. But do I stop? No. Do I keep going? Yes. Right? And that's leadership. Leadership is saying it is my responsibility and duty to ensure that these guys are still fighting, that these guys are encouraged, and that being confident in my decision, regardless of whether it's the right one or not at that moment. You will have brilliant moments. You will have terrible moments. And the sooner you get past the fact that you can still play this game at your worst possible day and the day after, the more you will love doing leadership and the more you will love this game like I do. Okay, I have had terrible, terrible, terrible days where I have thought that that night I need to leave this game. I wake up in the morning and say, why did I even think that? This game is amazing. Yeah, I sucked yesterday, but I'm going to take what happened yesterday and try and apply and make it better. Right? Those kind of
Also,
things.
something,
Yep.
if I could interject with
Sure.
something about squad leadership, there is no requirement for squad leadership, and I feel this is something we may not mention enough because a lot of people come from AODR, and AODR is actually kind of unique in that they do not allow leadership unless they're given permission, basically. We're not like that. We encourage you to lead if you want. Take the initiative.
Yep. I mean, so there's only one real kind of requirement for leadership, because we want to make sure people are kind of doing some of the things that I'm trying to emulate when I lead. Is I want you guys to be involved in the community. So on that TeamSpeak, on the Discord, maybe not using it crazy, but on it when you're playing the game specifically, or on it to communicate, right? And if you can get on the forums, great. If you can't, I'm not too worried about the forums so much. But get on TeamSpeak, guys. Use those comms. Use those mics. Don't be shy. If somebody honestly is going to judge you for your voice, I will kick him out of this outfit so fast they won't even know what happened, okay? Because there's none of that crap that's going to be in this outfit. And that's what I mean. Like, you guys are going to be able to understand that so well that you guys are going to be leading, even though you don't even think about the fact that you're leading, because you're not, right? Anyways, okay, so be confident regardless of what you're doing. Whatever decision you make, just do it. If it's wrong, live with it and learn from it, okay? If you need to take a break, go for it. Sorry, go for it.
I would like to add something to I've trained a couple of people here, and there's a couple of basics that I teach everybody. If you guys have remember, so that even Insanity and Floopy, they actually went under my sort of like one-to-one squad leadership training. If you guys have run in my squads and my platoons, I follow a couple, actually just a small amount of rules or basics that I follow when I'm running the squad. I'm going to give you guys pretty much the same thing as I gave to Floopy and the others. Number one, there is the requirement of having the voice, what I call the... you guys are familiar with Cesar Milan, the dog whisperer? Okay, that's sort of my analogy there. If you guys have seen that, he always says calm, assertive. Well, I don't want the calm one. I want to be firm, assertive. It means if I give a command, I speak with a strong voice. I'm not pissed off. I'm not like being too like shouting at you. I'm just being bossy. But I say it in what they call an assertive manner, that I'm basically ordering you to do something. So if I say, everybody, let's go press the redeploy button. We're going to move. When I say that, I always have that firm, assertive voice. That way people pay attention to what I'm saying. If you have a voice like this, okay, guys, let's go to this waypoint. I can tell you, if I'm playing in your squad, I'm only going to be there for 5 minutes because I'm going to be tired of hearing your voice. But if you have that firm, assertive voice, people will listen to what you're saying. Number two, logistics. People, you guys see me use the galaxies a lot to transport my troops, even after or before the bases are getting capped. That's very important. If you are basically saying to your members, get to this waypoint, get to that waypoint, they're going to come there on their own, whether they're driving a Sunday, they're walking towards it, and what's going to happen is you're not going to get everybody at that point at the same time. Get a Galaxy, get a Valkyrie, drop them. What happens when you drop them? They're all together in one point. If there is a Sunday or a point that you guys need to retake, you guys, 12 guys are dropping at the same time. And when you have 12 guys dropping at one position, you can do pretty much anything you want. The other thing is being able to talk to your squad members. I mean, I have players or squad members that they like to run the squad, but they never say anything. If you guys notice, I never shut up. Even I have a comment from Hypno Butler. He said, This guy never shuts up, and I love it because I constantly give you orders. I tell you where to go. I move the waypoints around based on what I'm seeing on the map. Now, that one does require some time to learn, to be able to constantly give orders while you're playing. But guess what? If you really care about, if you have a 48-man team, I usually don't play anymore. I just look at the map and tell people where to go. So you need that firm, assertive voice. Make sure you have logistics at every single. If you have to stop what you're doing and say, hey, everybody's scattered all over the map, tell them, hey, we're going to go back to the warp gate. I'm going to pull a galaxy. Everybody redeploy right now. So when you say that, you get them into the galaxy, and before you know it, they're following your order. Now, I've done this with non-BTYR members, with puppies, with people I just randomly picked out of the map. And I can tell you in 15 minutes, I have a 12-man team that knows how to follow my order and knows how to be in sync with my squad. So it's for BTYR members, it should be easier. But again, this is something that you have to learn. And the best way to learn it is to do it. Just keep doing it. You guys have to do it. You can't be a squad leader if all you do is put a waypoint and then after people have stopped following your orders, you quit.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
No. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. And if people aren't going to listen, that's why you'll see it. Me and Sorry, if people aren't listening, we just kick them. If they're not going to learn their lesson after that, after rejoining, kick them again and ban them. If they're B tier, you're going to get like 3 chances. After 3 chances and you're still not listening, you're gone from the squad or platoon. If you get re-invited and try it again, you'll get 3 more chances, and after that, you're gone from the outfit. We want to make sure there's a standard that's being upheld, right? And now, this is another thing that I'm going to say. There's 2 things, actually, I want to say. One is related to IVR, so IVR, bug me if I forget to say it. But one thing is, and I wrote it down because I was going to forget, if you see someone struggling in a leadership position and or as a member of your squad, teach them, help them, try and be that friend, try and be that teammate, right? The platoon leader and squad leader, our job is to make sure things are being done, and we're kind of more of a bit of enforcers at times, right? It's your job, if you're not the platoon or squad lead, as a leader, man, or as a person that's going to be kind of a leader, to basically look at your buddy and say, hey, dude, stick with the squad. Hey, like, this is why we stick with the squad. You guys need to talk just as much and or maybe a little less than your squad leaders and platoon leaders. Communication is key. Without communication, I don't know if there's an infiltrator on us or not. That's bad, right? So talking, and yeah, I never stop. You guys know I never stop talking. Never, ever, ever, ever. And I always speak as if I know exactly what the heck is happening or what I'm doing. I might feel like I do in those moments, but there are times where I don't at the same time, okay? The other thing, too, that I'm going to mention, I'm just going to make sure I read it again. Yeah, so if you see somebody who's straggling behind, try and encourage them to regroup with the squad. If they do it with a Sunday, that's going to be up to your squad leader to either accept that or kick him. And we'll read their movement, okay? Reading somebody's movement is good. So if you look at the map, for example, okay, so I've already pressed M, and if you guys see Bravo 5, for example, he's way out of position from the rest of the platoon. If he starts moving towards the right of the map, chances are he's not even trying to regroup. So you can pretty much kick him, right? You can pretty much just write him off. If you're going to be the encouraging person or the person that's going to try and curb him, say, hey, Bravo 5, come back. You're getting away from us, if your squad leader doesn't see it or mention it, right? If he turns around and starts heading towards you, he's listening. So don't kick him at that point, right? If he is still going the same way and or stops, then that's when you're going to have to make the call, right? If he's running the other way, he's definitely not listening. But if he stops, make the call if he's going to listen or not, right? If somebody is struggling and goes and grabs a Sunday, if they didn't ask, I mean, your squad leaders and your platoon leaders are probably going to assume the worst right off the bat because, again, we're just so busy with the rest of the facts that we got to cut the fat, right? So if he's getting a Sunday and I didn't call for it, I'll probably ream him out. If he then tells me after the fact, oh, sorry, I was going to get it to regroup and or have a Sunday set, I'll be like, okay, that's fine. But if you can tell your platoon and squad leaders ahead of time, hey, can I do this instead? Chances are you'll get a yes or no. Depends on the situation, right? But it's important for you guys to be the teachers, the encouragers, especially when you're not squad leading, because I don't got time to do that. I got to make sure that the platoon is moving, the platoon is going. I do try and incorporate moments like that. I've been trying again to incorporate moments of, hey guys, this is why we're doing this, okay? Which is important and something I'm going to touch on a little more in a second. But that's basically the gist of that part. Okay, so sorry, I was just reading what IVR was saying. What was the last thing I just said?
About Bravo 5 and all that being away.
No, just like the end part of what I just said. I totally forgot.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I get distracted with things. So,
like ask for.
Yep.
Yeah, just like if you're in the squad, you can still have a leadership role by following orders and checking in with your platoon leader if you want to do something, like
Perfect.
pull a Sunday up.
Yep. So, actually, thank you. That's not exactly what I was trying to remember, but you led me back to it. As a squad leader, okay, and a platoon leader, and Sorry is a perfect example of this, and that's why I'm trying to make sure to do it more myself, because I kind of laxed a bit on it. We need to be making sure that we are doing two things. Encouraging our platoon, especially when they're doing good, but even in their bad moments, right? Saying, look, you guys did great. We stuck together. We did our part. We did our job. If that is even a true or a lie, it doesn't make a difference, okay? But encouraging people, but also kind of explaining to people, hey guys, this is why we're doing this. This is why we're grabbing all lightnings. This is why we're grabbing galaxies. This is why we're dropping on this base versus that base. This is why we're getting out popped. This is why we've done this thing, okay? When you do that, people are going to feel confident, better or more confident, the fact that you know what you're talking about and what you're doing. As well as they're going to want to stick with that, right? They now understand. They have a concept, right? So if we look at the map again, everybody press M. If I say, hey guys, we're going to drop on, let's pick a base, Sarah Listening Post, and we're going to drop on that C point in order to backcap the enemy. Well, what are the chances that the enemy is going to come back and overpop it and wipe us out from there? Probably really high, right? Especially if you look at the map and where it's at right now. But what happens if we get wiped off that point and didn't take the base? Is that a loss still?
Not necessarily, because it could draw a pop away from the front line at Rhyme Analytics.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
true.
So there's two things. Technically, it's a loss. You did not achieve the objective of taking the base, okay? But if your objective wasn't that to begin with, it's a win. If your objective was to land at Sarah Listening Post on C point only to backcap, okay, the enemy has to come back from their attack to deal with you, and that might allow your guys to push up to that base or another base and take it. That's a win. Because now you're not playing for yourself. You're playing for the faction. And that's the whole point of the game, to get those alerts, guys. If you're not going to play for the faction, why play at all? That's the same thing. If you're not going to play for the platoon or the squad, why play at all? You might as well just go on Call of Duty. The maps and the guns and the mechanics of all that are a lot more conducive to single-player, multiplayer killing than this. This is more conducive for tactical teamwork, sticking with the group, and actually playing together and coordinating, right? When TR command is coordinating, we win better alerts. It has been proven in the past. I've seen it, right? When TR command is silent and nobody's trying, we lose alerts that we should be winning, right? And the same thing applies to this. If you're not playing as your squad, right? Then that's a problem. That's a huge problem. And as a person of leadership and or a person that's going to lead by example, you need to be trying to keep that in mind, right? So this is what this is a perfect example right now. We've got Bravo 5 and Bravo 6. They're out of position. Somebody, what would you do right now if you weren't squad lead to try and bring them over?
Hey,
Say
man, we
Alpha
could really
6,
use your
Bravo
help.
5.
We could really use your help out here.
Well, let's get it way more basic than that. Did Bravo 5? Where's Bravo 5?
I call him out by name.
Yeah, I call them out by name, but I actually want you guys to encourage them to come here and actually work with us right now.
Bravo 5 logged out.
Perfect.
No, he's just dead.
Oh, he's just dead.
Free to play.
Yeah, group up with us, please. If you're gonna be part of this, group up with us. This is not just. I'm sorry, it's boring. Again, if you don't want to be part of it, then don't be. You're more than welcome
Yeah,
to
guys,
leave.
this is purely optional.
This is
just
100%
leadership
optional.
training.
If you actually want to lead, then smarten up and listen. If you actually don't give a shit, then don't give a shit and go play somewhere else right now. And then when we have an actual combat squad, you can join us then. Capiche? Okay. So, okay. Let's move on from there unless somebody has something else they want to add, say from that. No? Okay. So, let's get into some map reading stuff. No, actually, you know what? We'll do map reading last, I think. I think I want to do the comms thing because that's actually pretty important. And I finished just talking about a whole whackload of that. Communications in a squad, between squads, and to command. In B tier, how do you think that should look?
If I may,
Clean, making
should
sure
go from a
Hold on.
squad.
maintained and comms are clear.
Hold on. Senior Funk, say it again, but say it in platoon.
Oh, sorry about that. I was just saying that it should go from squad to squad lead, and squad lead up to platoon lead. You know, if you're corresponding back and forth, right? So, I mean, obviously, commands come down the chain, but feeding information up the chain is just as important. It's a two-way street.
Perfect. So now let's do an example. Nikolai is going to be the squad member. He's going to tell what squad are you in? You're an alpha. He's going to tell me as his squad leader, and we're going to assume Therentoy is the platoon leader. So I'm going to tell Therentoy. So I want you to do it in the proper comms. I don't want people to hear you if you're in a squad, for example, because I want them to understand what it sounds like and how it's supposed to sound. So go.
Be advised, squad lead, enemy Sunder north, 100 meters.
Be advised, platoon lead, enemy Sunder north, 200 meters over.
Roger.
That's as...
Platoon, face north.
Yeah. This is as simple as it is. It doesn't have to be crazy, right? So essentially, Nikolai told me of the threat. I then informed my platoon leader of the threat, and my platoon leader has now told the entire platoon about the threat and directed them towards the threat, right? That's how simple it can be. That's how streamlined it could be. Instead, what you shouldn't do is as, oh my gosh, platoon leader, there's a Sunny on the north side, we gotta kill it, ah! That's wrong. That should not happen.
Yeah,
that is not going to help.
I would just like to add, the way Nikolai said it is the correct way. You need to have a point of reference when you're identifying where a Sunday is or a position of interest that we need to focus. If you say enemy Sunday at the base, where at the base? You know, if I have to spend like 10 seconds to ask you where it is, I'm wasting my time. If you say where is that based on usually the point of reference is the capture point or a squad waypoint, the platoon leaders will get an idea. Hey, he said there is a Sunday east of my platoon waypoint. And then I'm going to play that guessing game. Oh, I know where that Sunday is. The platoon leader will move the platoon waypoint to that location. Say, hey, enemy Sunday at platoon waypoint. Go. So don't just say oh, there's an enemy galaxy. Even that, there's an you'll at least try to shoot at it, and at least everybody knows that there's a galaxy coming from that location. So if you see a Sunday, if you see a deployed Sunday, when you say it, it has to have a point of reference from the capture point or from our position or the ammo tower or whatever, so that we're not guessing where the enemy Sunday is at.
Or everybody has a compass on top of their minimap. It's just a matter of glancing at it, right? Your minimap is your freaking friend. It is there to help you describe the situation as best and as fluently as possible and to stick together. What a thought. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do another example. I want each squad has a squad leader. I want one person in each squad. Actually, you know what? Squad leaders determine who in your squad is going to do the talk. And you guys are going to do the same thing. So you, as a squad member, are going to call the threat, call the direction of the threat. You don't even have to worry about the distance so much. The distance isn't as important as the direction. And basically do a communication. Your squad leaders are then going to talk to me. So let's do that in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, platoon lead be advised. 3 NC Vanguards northeast of the base.
Roger that. Alpha, what's your sit rep over? Alpha, what is your
Platoon lead, I think our squad lead is AFK.
Oh, roger that. So that's actually perfect. that actually worked out way better, right? So...
Platoon lead.
Oh.
Alpha 9 are requesting command substitute.
See? Yeah. And that's all it is. Basically, it's just communicating, right? Bravo had a threat. Now, I didn't address that threat because I was expecting Alpha to talk after and to give me another threat assessment, and then I was going to make a call based off of that. Okay? But, yeah, if Sari's AFK, somebody's got to talk. And it don't matter who it is. If you're going to be possible leadership in the future, or if you have done leadership, or you are a squad lead or a platoon lead, you know, known or unknown, right? Then do it, right? Talk. If you're not any of those ranks, doesn't matter. Talk. Leadership, again, is not just the position. It is the concept, right? So use those comms. So Funk spoke up. He said, hey, our squad lead is AFK. And I would have assigned somebody if I was taking it seriously a little more, but Nikolai actually...
squad leader.
Nikolai even spoke up and said, hey, I'll take it since he's AFK. Perfect. That allows me to set up a new squad lead and get those lines of communication rolling again, right? Now, what is something that is vital, absolutely vital, for you to skip all of that to tell the platoon lead?
When it's really bad?
Where there is something that is so flippin' important, that is pretty much the equivalent of getting nuked, okay?
Something that pertains to the whole platoon, like a galaxy drop on a planet that the entire platoon is on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or if one of these squads are wiped or breached. Those are the only situations that I'm accepting of you saying, hey, platoon lead, Charlie White. It doesn't have to be from the squad lead. It can be from anybody, okay? That is something that needs to happen as soon as possible, right? Gal drop on the point. Yeah, we probably need everybody there, chances are. Especially if we're anywhere in the 30-second range or below, okay? And then
I think what... Gino, I'm going to add to that. I think what Gino is saying, when you're a squad leader, it doesn't necessarily mean you always need to be at that same point. If you're paying attention to the map and you see, this is very important, you got to tell, for example, like, Gino will call it when he sees that, you know, a certain position is being breached. I do that too. If I see, based on how the enemy troops are moving or based on the dead bodies that are showing up, I would move my squad, even without any command from the platoon leader. I'm just going to say to my platoon leader, hey, Alpha is moving into point. And I'm just going to tell him that I moved my squad to that point. Communication is very important because we're giving you the ability to lead a squad. If you see that there's something going on that you can take care of, just say it to the platoon leader. And, if the platoon leader can see it, usually when the platoon leader can see that you're doing the right thing, he's going to let you go. Say, go ahead. And then if that's going to be a problem, the platoon leader say, hey, stay there. Usually the platoon leader will know enough to basically say, Alpha, do not move. I see a Sunday on your position. Do not move. Just stay on that point. But if nothing is happening and you think you can hit that Sunday close to that point, go ahead to tell them, hey, platoon lead, I see a Sunday right in front of our objective. We're going to push in and get rid of it. Then, if he's okay with that, go. You guys are going to feel free to do that. By being a squad leader, don't be like the guy that just puts the spawn beacon. Take control of your squad. If you guys, even if I'm running just one squad, I micromanage you guys. I tell you where to go. I get people to be with me, to work as a fire team, and tell them, hey, stay here, stay there. We're here, just us. The rest of the team, watch the other side of the position. You guys feel free to do that when you're running a squad. I've seen our squad leaders do that. I've seen Gravity. Just played with him the other day when we were fighting against the NC. It was great because even though I was giving instruction as a platoon leader, Gravity was basically giving commands to his squad. So it doesn't matter what I'm saying. I just give a point. I just give the instruction. He repeats it, and he tells everybody what they're supposed to do. That's what we're looking for.
So, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but another good example of good squad leadership, in my opinion, is we had a point hold at Silver Valley Arsenal. We had Alpha Bravo Charlie. Charlie was floating between points. Now, the platoon leader is in one spot. He can't see the entire building. So, as I was Bravo holding the ground floor with my squad, I saw that Charlie and I weren't getting any action at door, so I commanded Charlie directly to go assist Alpha, because the platoon lead gave the general command, Charlie, go wherever there's most action, and because I saw that there wasn't enough action here, I told Charlie to move off and assist Alpha, because I had that information. So I could have gone to platoon lead and suggested that, or because I was confident in in the information I had, because Alpha was communicating that they were getting hit heavily, I just told them. That's something else that can be a good idea to do, in moderation.
Yeah. Somebody, our Squigglies, what is our squad composition?
Right now, we're running 4 medics, 2 engineers, and an infiltrator, and everyone else is heavy or light assault, preferably heavy.
No. It's 16 infiltrators, a max, and an NG. Hi, guys. Just dropping by to say, hey, what's up? Miss you.
Hey, distracted.
I have to do some runs soon.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of you guys to do that, and then I keep either missing you or you guys are too busy, so it's all good. We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, we had a Sunday ball, but where everybody's logging off now, so I'll let you guys get back to your discussion there.
Perfect.
Take it easy.
Thank you. Love you.
No homo.
Aww, yes, homo.
Plenty of homo.
Squigglies. Or actually, Therantoy. Is that squad doctrine meant to make you essentially not think and or just stay with that? Or are you encouraged to change that as the situation is needed?
You're always encouraged to go from standard if it need be. I've had plenty of points, especially when you're down squad mates. If you're at half a squad, you don't need to be trying to fill 4 medics. I mean, if you're doing a half squad, maybe 4 people, run utility for Alpha. Be infiltrators, be engineers, be medics. Stick with the main force, because you're not going to do much on your own. However, you bolster the effects of the other squads, even if you're down men.
Or C4 Fairy Sundays would work with 4.
That too.
Right? So there's.
I'm really glad that this was. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but before I forget, I'm really glad that this was brought up because it's something else that I wanted to talk about. In my squad leadership, I've been running into a problem where if we hemorrhage members, especially later at night, we run into this problem where we have 4 medics, 2 engineers, and like 2 heavies, and our AV capacity is extremely limited. And this was getting to be a problem at one point at actually Silver Valley Arsenal when we were on the road trying to push up. We couldn't kill any Sunnies. We had 2 heavies. That's it. So in that regard, I feel as though the last 1 or 2 medics and the last NG should be some of the last roles that you fill as a squad leader, because you need to have a minimum amount of vehicle killing power.
Essentially,
Well, not only that.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead, and I'll say my thing.
Well, as squad leads, going back to what Gino said, first in, first out, you want to be the class that's going to be the tankiest, whether it be a max or a heavy assault. You want to lead from the front, even if you're doing a small squad. So, even if you do a small squad, it'd be good, like, if you have utility, have something strong. Have a little punch.
Yeah. Squad leadership is a thing that can be shifted around if need be to put beacons down, because beacons is just a utility part of it, right? It is not the actual role. You are squad leader, even if you don't have the star, so long as you're acting like squad leader, right? If I pass squad leader to, let's say, Albino, and Albino, you know, drops that beacon, that's all he was meant to do. He's not the new squad lead unless I say, hey, guys, I need a break. Albino's going to be the squad lead. Listen to his orders, right? That's how you pass off squad leadership appropriately. You empower that squad leader with the role, right? But if I say, hey, can you put a beacon down and I pass it to you because I'm a max, well, that's just a utility part of it, right? The other thing, the main reason why I wanted to bring this up is, as leaders, I'm not trying to stifle you guys with micromanagement stuff and all that. I will be trying to micromanage you because I have an idea in my head of what is needed. But if your situation requires something different, then let me know either before or after the fact and do it, right? Do it and tell me. Tell me and then do it, or do it and then tell me after, right? Whatever the case may be, you guys need to have confidence enough to say, no, I know this is doctrine, but I don't need the 4 medics right now. In fact, I need another C4 ferry for whatever reason. Or I need another engineer. Or I need another max, right? Or I don't need an infiltrator. There's more than enough recon darts on the map. I'll switch them out for something different, right? Go for it. But the default is, right, once you're done with that situation, go back to default. Because default is supposed to make us versatile as much as possible and give us all the supports we need possible in order to survive as long as possible, right? That way we're not lacking recon darts, we're not lacking ammo, we're not lacking revives and heals. Now, actually, here's something that's also part of leadership, that's kind of a back end, is if you're a medic, are you still a soldier?
Yeah, you can't heal anybody if you're dead.
Exactly. So, as a leader, you want to make sure that you're teaching people that. Hey, medic, don't just have your rep gun out all the time. Switch to your weapon. Kill the enemy. You've got 10 seconds to revive people, and you've got a little bit of time to heal, okay? But if somebody is shooting at your guy, right, and you're trying to revive him and he just keeps dying, shoot that guy back. Right? Shoot the enemy, get him out of the way, and then revive that guy. Anyways, that's kind of a side point. And that was more what I said on the first one, which there's a recording on the forums. Go find it. Okay, map reading. Let's get into that finally. So everybody open your map because we're basically going to be on that for the whole time. Okay? Map reading is looking at the map and the situations on the map and planning out what you're going to do based on the immediate area of that map and the other areas where there are fights and or where they might be respawning to get Sundies, tanks, and gals to drop. Warp gates are of a special importance. If you see a 24 to 48 or 48 to 96 there, don't go to a base until that has cleared. Okay? Or if you're going to go to a base, make sure you're going to support a bros. Right, so let's put into a scenario. Asimir Eastern Warp Gate by the NC has 48 and 96. and let's say the NC has Rhyme Analytics, and there's a major fight happening at the Biolab as well. Yeah. So we want to possibly go for Rhyme Analytics. Do we go right away? No.
No.
Don't go right away. Wait or attack the Biolab, right? Like, essentially, you're going to plan your stuff based on what's happening around, right? So a better idea, actually, would be the Traverse. Does everybody see where the Traverse is?
Yeah.
Okay, Traverse is underpopped. There are friendlies behind a Ferrari Network compound. The base adjacent to that and very barracks, underpopped, and it's not going anywhere, okay? If we drop on and very barracks right this instant, what do you think is going to happen to that Traverse pop?
It's going to shift over to the barracks.
How easy is that?
It's going to take them redeploy because there's no lattice connection. So a spawn hopper redeploy, it's probably going to take them about 1-2 minutes to get there.
And sorry, how long is a redeploy?
Redeploy, just to redeploy?
Yes.
It's about, I think, 10 seconds just to redeploy.
10 seconds. So in 10 seconds, you can go from being over popping it, okay, and taking that point, to getting destroyed by a Zerg. How long does a base cap normally take on average?
4
minutes.
A minute and a half.
3 minutes.
Anywhere between 3 minutes to 5 minutes on average. Some bases take 6 or 7. Some bases take 4, right? On average, we're going to just say 4. They get 10 seconds to come over. You have 4 minutes to do it. So you better make sure that when you're dropping, that you're not going to get dropped in 10 seconds. Okay? That it's going to take them 4 minutes to respond. Okay? So that means drop on friendlies that are already fighting to support them. Yeah, you might be zerging it. Guess what? Welcome to the game. Okay? We're here to win. We're not here to play nice all the time. But if you're going to drop on the opposite base while your friendlies are defending and or fighting at the other base, you better be darn well sure that they're going to be distracted there for 4 minutes, right? So I would say if, and again, you got to look at all the adjacent bases. You're going to look at Snowshire Watchtower. You're going to look at Frere Network Compound, Invari Biolab. You're going to look at Matheson's Triumph, because there could be pop back and even in those hexes, right? And those guys, they might be in a situation where they're like, well, we're not really doing anything here, but hey, look, Invari Barracks is going down. Let's hop over there, right? So you got to watch more than just, oh, Snow or Invari Barracks, it's underpopped for us, let's go drop there. No, you got to look around. You got to look, okay, well, so Invari Barracks, do they have anybody at the warp gate? No. Okay, so that's pretty good. They've got a huge pop at the Traverse, but it seems like the pop at Fair Network Compound has changed. Maybe they're committing to a fight to that. Well, while they're committing to... Oh, look, the timer just flipped for Fair Compound Network. We have pop there. Why don't we go for Invari Barracks now? We'll drop there. Hey, look, we're taking that point. We should be able to do this. You drop there, we should have time to do it.
We should be actually be able to do it, you know? like right now.
Yeah, I know. I don't...
Oh, by the way, guys.
No worries. But what Gino is saying is, those are the typical skills that are going to be needed for being a good platoon leader. If you guys think that platoon leading is simply just putting a waypoint because there's a target there that you can take, that's Planetside 2 when it first opened. Nobody knew how to read a map. Like Gino was trying to explain, he's actually reading the map, and he did it. He kind of explained the timing pretty well, because sometimes when I'm dropping you guys, I am paying attention to every single thing that's going on the map. I'm even paying attention to what the VS and NC is doing, because that is going to tell me if I'm going to get a response. Now, what he said is like the Traverse. There is actually a group of guys playing between the Traverse and Rhyme Analytics. So most likely, if you attack Invari Barrack, 1224 is the only pop that you're gonna get unless they overcommit to defending that base. But the other thing you gotta pay attention is there's the key bases. These are the bases on the map that pretty much is hard to take and is easy to defend. Bases like Matherson's Tryon, Isa Tech Plant, Cerro Listening Post, Rhyme Analytics is also an easy base to take or defend. It's an easy base to defend and very violent. So every time you attack a base, it's so hard because of where you put the A point. You can just keep dropping people on there, and it's so hard to get them back on the. So you don't just. A lot of people do this. Oh, they see a hex. Like for example, I got a platoon. There's only 2448 at the traverse. I'm gonna go take that base. Well, it's not just that. Like what Gino is explaining, the other connection has 1224 VS. It means your total number of pop is actually all the pop that's connected to the base that you're going to attack. That's how you figure out if you can take that base or not. So basically, and very barracks, there's always some guy inside the biolab or flying around somewhere. So they're always going to get 1224 at that base. But he's right. If you take that base now, while the VS is pushing Frostfall, and it looks...
Hey, by the way, guys,
you should be able to take that base.
Some basic things that are actually not so basic that a lot of people don't know about the map. So when you're in the map, so if you're in the squad, you're probably kind of new. You probably don't have all the continents memorized. If you're in the map and someone calls out an important base and you can't find it, you hit Control and F together. You can search for the name of that base. You just type in part of its name, press Enter, and then find it on the list and click it. That'll take you to it.
Shit.
Other useful things is, if you look on the right, there's these series of buttons. It's by default, it shows the statistics. But one button down, you can enable filters, and in that way you can turn on and off things like filters, facility connections, hotspots, and you can change the heat maps to enemy activity. And this is a very useful thing for squad leaders and platoon leaders to know, because it tells you directly by the basically the saturation of the color on the map how much enemy population is at that province. These things make it very streamlined. Also, when you're looking on the continent, especially when you're on a fresh continent, you want to know what bases are relevant. Because if you're at Freyr substation, even though it's adjacent to Freyr network compound, there's no lattice. So you can't just go from that base to the next. You have to go to Freyr amp station to attack Freyr network compound. So the easiest way to tell this, and even though this is displayed by default, it might not be obvious. You see the gold dotted lattice lines. Those are the most relevant lattice lines because those are the ones that you can attack. And those are also the ones that the enemy can attack from. So always train your eyes to go to those golden dotted lattice lines the moment you open the map for the first time when you log in, if you're going to squad lead. Even if you're not going to squad lead. It's important for everyone to keep an eye on the map because squad leads aren't perfect. We miss things. Gino misses things. All of us miss things. And even though we have all this experience, sometimes all it takes is, oh, by the way, Gino, just so you know, we're losing this base. Or the enemy doesn't have pump at this other base, we could attack that if the platoon lead's taken a long time to deliberate on where to attack next. Make suggestions.
Yeah, on that point, it's helpful for the platoon leader if somebody else is like looking at the map and you guys, for example, see like biolab is going down. It helps if you say, "Hey, Gino, biolab is going down," and then you mention the pop.
But that's why I need you guys on TeamSpeak. I don't want you saying that in the squads or platoons. It has a tendency to pretty much make people think, oh, well, we can just start undermining things. No. That kind of stuff I want on TeamSpeak because that way nobody else knows about it except for the people that want to do it and are wanting to do leadership especially, right? And to learn, to hear that and say, oh, well, let's look at it. So yeah, I mean, you want to look at multiple different things. You want to know what bases to attack. If there's a fight at Aurora Materials Lab, for example, and there's 48 to 96, and they're taking that base, there's 1 minute left, and you decide to attack Inferi Barracks, well, unless they are just a Zerg fit and they don't care about the rest of the map, and they're not reading the map themselves, they're probably going to move over, right? So that's why you got to make sure you pick your battles. 3-point bases. If you know you can take a 3-point base, my gosh, you might as well take it if it makes sense. Now, what does that mean? Hey, Gino, you just encouraged me to do it, but now you're saying if it makes sense. A biolab always usually makes sense unless the base behind you can easily get capped, okay? Serial listing post, if you can take serial listing post, will make sense if you have the tech plant, right? If you just have serial listing post and not the tech plant, they can cut you off pretty easily by taking ISA Mountain Pass and then Rhyme Analytics, right? Matheson's Triumph, my goodness, take Matheson's Triumph for the love of God. That'll hold such an amount of territory, it's ridiculous. Because if they take Matheson's, going up to Fair Amp Station that way is actually really, really, really easy, right? And knowing how to defend bases, right? How to put people is also part of reading the map, right? Reading the territory or the terrain. So let's put an example down. Let's say we were going to help save Fair Amp Station. Let's use that as a good example because it's got towers. Usually, when I set up stuff, I set it up heavily based on where they're going to come from and have one squad on a place where I think they're going to flank to, right? So we got 3 squads right now. So I'll say, okay, Alpha, why don't you go there? Bravo, you go there. And Charlie, you're going to go here. So the main force, if they try and go through that main shield, will get stopped, right? If they don't and they try and just go right towards where the Charlie waypoint is, Alpha and Bravo should be able to hit them as they're moving over. Or even if they take the back way, right? There's 2 routes there. If they get towards Charlie, Charlie then has a chance to kill them, right? So that seeing, oh, there's towers. Towers are elevation. Towers are cover. That's good. That's what you want your guys to have. Let's go into a different scenario. What about over by, let's say, right in front of Snowshoe Watchtower, there's this thing at Platoon Waypoint. That's actually, you can use a ridge like that as cover. You can set up squads to be kind of like this. Right? Reading the terrain. You see how the terrain moves like that as well, based on the waypoints. So you can use those things as cover. Another example would be using rocks, right? So if I set the waypoints up like this, does everybody see where I'm putting them?
Yep.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So you're putting them in locations that you're reading the map and saying, okay, there's got to be cover here, or there's got to be advantageous parts to it. Or another one is knowing where the points are, right? So if you guys look at Snowshoe, I know where the points are. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna do this. Blah 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 blah. So that's all part of learning the map and reading the map, right?
For a squad leader, you don't have those waypoints. That's why it's also important to unlock the smoke. Mm-hmm. If you notice, if I'm a squad leader, I used to smoke a lot because if I don't have a platoon, I don't have those waypoints. So even though everybody can see them, they probably don't understand why you have the purple, orange smoke and all that stuff, but they don't see that you were using that as a more of like a waypoint for your squad. Mm-hmm.
So does everybody see the smoke that's on Snowshoe now?
Yep. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so that's why it's important, right, to have that too, is it helps you set up priority targets, set up where Sunnies might be, and or if you're a squad leader, set up waypoints like that as well. Especially for movement, it actually really helps if you're moving Sunnies along, using that as opposed to waypoints. I keep forgetting, which is my fault, but I need to correct that as well.
Real quick, Gino. Just as a reminder for squad leads, or just anybody reading maps, and Esimir's kind of unique for this, but if it isn't a one-cap base that's a connector, a lot of the multiple point bases are going to be real unique. Like in Snowshear, we have a full, almost built-in level for, like, I believe that's Sea Point there, where Yellow Smoke is.
Yep.
However,
that's it.
Charlie Smoke is elevated somewhat. And then we have the tower. In Frere Amp Station, you have 3 spawn rooms besides the Defender's spawn rooms that, depending on which lattice line is connected, you got 2 in the back there, and then 1 under the air pads in the very center. And all the points are outside the amp station. So you gotta watch out for that, and sometimes it'll be a little overbearing if you're somewhat new to the base. I mean, most people say they don't know the Hassan layouts for bases. There's a lot of confusing things on Hassan. But it'd be good to circulate.
I just want to add this. If you're struggling to give or figure out what your squad needs to do, let's say you're running your own squad. This is, again, part of what I teach the squad leaders. Keep it simple. If you're following, for example, I like doing this sometimes, like I follow AODR, and I use them as a meat shield. So if I know they're going to attack Fair Amp Station, I'm going to put my squad on one of the capture point. And I'm just going to say, hey, we're going to defend that B point, while the rest of AODR take care of the other point. Because as long as you're holding 1 point on the triple cap base that you're attacking, that will give the rest of the TR that's attacking with you to push up. So even though I'm not with their platoon, I know what's going to happen. Because nobody, once they see a point it's fully capped, sometimes they leave it alone. Well, guess what? The enemy's going to try to retake it. And if you put your squad there, then you're going to be able to be effective because you're basically defending a point and then you're getting kills at the same time. Also, don't be that guy that thinks like he's always running a platoon, like he will drop his small squad on every big fight. That is a big no-no. You will lose members very quickly. When I'm running a squad, it's usually I look for fights that could benefit from my squad, or there could be like small ghost cap. I like doing this when VS or NC's ghost cap. I will take my squad to go find their sun and blow it up. It helps them to kind of get organized and kind of understand the importance of being redeploying all together, so that if we need to drop on a certain point, we're grouped up every single time. Once you do that a couple of times, after a while, every single person will automatically redeploy. If you guys notice in my squad, after a few minutes, even though with the puppies in the squad, they kind of get the idea, oh, hey, I need to be redeployed. Because if they drop on a Sunday, I don't get the points if I'm not there. So you get that control. And the benefit of that is as soon as you got your squad to be working at that level, it doesn't matter if they're beater or not. They could be AODR, they could be other outfits. They will follow your order. We have people that do that. They love running with us because we give that command structure and we make sure we take care of each of our squad members under each squad. So that's very important. You don't have to be running a platoon. Platoon leading is not the easiest thing. Squad leading is okay. Start from there. Do that every day. If you don't want to run a platoon, go ahead. Keep. I think ALS 94. I love how he runs the squad because he just constantly kicks people, and after a while, he's gonna stop doing it because every single player in his squad is following his order. So don't get attached to your squad member. Like you're saying, oh, I'm gonna give them like 10 warnings. Don't do that. If they're not following your orders, kick him out because you're a beat your squad. Beat your squads get filled up very quickly. Like we would open up one squad and before you know it, we're like another full squad. If we have everybody like run their own squad, I can guarantee you on the next continent, in less than 30 minutes, we'll be able to fill it up. And it's just gonna fill up instantly.
Yeah. Hey. So before I forget, because I didn't get to interject earlier. So a thing about when we were talking about talking in TeamSpeak. So a lot of people are like, why do we use TeamSpeak? So the biggest reason probably is that whole giving suggestions in TeamSpeak. We usually run with open squads, Open Republic. That means that we are putting on of face. We are representing BTR. So that means that we have to take pains in order to make sure that we are being represented in the best of ways. So that's one way that helps represent us in a good way. So another point that I wanted to make is Sari was talking about changing the pace. So this is important for a number of reasons that aren't obvious, because as a leader, you're not just in charge of winning. You're also in charge of making sure people have fun. And surprisingly, this can be easy to forget. So part of having fun in games is a flow and pace. So this is common in games, movies, where you can't have constant non-stop action. People get burnt out. They can only handle so much stimulus. So sometimes a ghost cap is actually a good thing because it gives people time to relax if you've just come off a really intense big fight. Another thing that's really important to keep in mind is that a platoon is composed of squads. Squads are independent entities. They're meant to be. That means that some of the time, and this is something that Gino has problems with, you need to break up the platoon. You send one squad or two squads to two different bases. This is something that I think that I do the most, especially when I was doing over on Beaton. I had the platoon apart almost the entirety of the alert. We were one squad on each province because the VS just weren't giving us enough resistance. So you only want as many forces on a province as you need. That also helps with regards to making sure you're not overpopping, so keeping an interesting challenge for everyone. Because BTR is organized. We're more organized than most of the opposition that we face. So overpopping not only gives us a bad reputation, but it's just boring. And it's also just strategically unsound. So keep that in mind.
Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not.
It is.
One thing I'm going to say about the splitting the platoon up is you're doing possibly two things with that, okay, which is actually really good. One of them plays into the fact that ever since 6 months ago, if you put one B-tier squad in a fight, no matter who else is there, the fight changes immediately. And usually it favors TR. For some reason, because of how we play and how we're organized, if you're doing it correctly, it will change the fight even if AODR is there and losing. And AODR unfortunately has a reputation sometimes, and I'm going to have to emphasize sometimes, of overpopping an area but still not being able to take it. And then when you get B tier in there, all of a sudden, and it's just one squad of B tier, you get them in there, all of a sudden the fight is finally going in their favor, right? So splitting your squads up to help your friends it's good. It's good for our reputation. It's good for what exemplifies us as being leaders of pushes. We are always the outfit that is pushing, and pretty much being a supportive group for our faction, and as well as basically showing people that teamwork is amazing and it works. The other thing it does is you can overwhelm the enemy. So if an enemy is looking at the map and says, well, we got 3 bases that are getting capped, they now have to make the same choice. They either have to break up their platoon and respond, or they have to say, screw it, we'll just write them off, right? If they write one of 3 bases off, you're getting a base. Even if you don't take the other 2, you're still getting a base. And that's the whole point of this, is getting territory, right? So doing that, you can overwhelm the enemy to the point where they're not sure which bases to actually defend, especially if you're attacking 3 and 2 of them are important. And if you have 4 squads, you can do the same thing. You can attack 4 places at once.
If I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't run a full platoon. I usually like just running the squad because I like you guys when you guys just play together as one squad. We have done so many. I run squads where we are basically helping the other outfit on that base, whether we're dropping on the amp station or the tech plant, where we're just focused on that one spot. It helps that even though it might not be a B tier, which is kind of funny because sometimes we would have just one squad, and AODR would be the entire platoon on that map, and it's BTYR who's gonna show up on the base capture. That has happened so many times because the way we do our squad, we kind of get the more points because of the assist, all the revives that we do, and that's the thing is that's why the teamwork is very important, because every time you have classes supporting each other, everybody gets a lot of certs. I don't know if you guys realize, but sometimes I don't fire my weapon as much. I still get a lot of certs, and I'm pretty sure those people who are shooting people to kill people, they get more. I mean, so it's not something that we just move you so you guys pretty much get the same amount of certs. Try this. Try your score per hour if you're running on a BT and you're running on a, let's say, AODR platoon. I can tell you there is a huge difference in score per hour. And that is the one that tells you if you're getting a lot of certs or not.
There's an actual mechanic that measures the distance you are away from another team member and the amount of certs that person is getting with you versus separated from you, right? It's in there. It's just not prevalent.
Yeah, Gino.
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple comments and questions if there's time for that.
Might as well do it now. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I've been leading squads and platoons a lot lately, and I found a lot of the stuff you guys say is like really, really helpful. And I wanted to emphasize, just from where I'm sitting, how important it is that like everyone sort of like acts as everyone has the opportunity to be a leader. Like, so you lead by example by like following orders quickly, and it becomes really obvious who's not following orders because most of the squads all sit in the right place. You encourage your squad mates to come with you and say, hey guys, let's get over to this A point. You can say like, hey, Dookie, come guard the small stairs with me. Things like that. I find like really helpful. And I find that usually there's too few people talking in squad chat more than there's too many. So like I think you can err on the side of communication. And similar to that, I find like going together is really, really helpful. Like there's I actually spent some time in the Canadian Forces, and there's an expression in lots of different branches that's like 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So like if you go together, you're way more likely to succeed. So that things like guarding your medics when they go to revive somebody, or your infiltrators when they're hacking a terminal. And like the last thing that I wanted to touch on was if you don't know, ask. So if you don't know how to do something, ask somebody. People in this outfit are actually very nice, and they'll tell you. Someone just showed me the other day how to set the primary target, and that was super helpful. Another thing I find really helpful as a platoon leader especially is when people ask, like, what should I be doing right now? Like, if the orders aren't clear, or if there's no orders being given, like, ask. Prompt your squad leader or your platoon leader to say, like, hey, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be. I find that actually immensely helpful. That's it.
I just want to add to that. This is the mentality that a lot of people do. They like going. If you notice, guys, people like running on their own, and they usually get killed. And if we're set up on a spot, it's usually impossible to get us off that spot unless we are severely overpowered. The reasoning that this is something that we discovered when we were playing those special outfits versus outfits on Matherson's. I forgot what they were called. But they basically showed us that if you have a group of 12 guys working together, even just 6 guys working together, it's almost impossible to break that team because there's always a guarantee. There's always medics to revive, engineers for ammo pack. So if we're put in a position wherein there's one squad, I can guarantee you it's always an overpop. That's the only way to get you guys off that position. If you're holding a point that's a room, the only way you're going to lose all your players there is if they put an overpop to you. Now, sometimes they just throw grenades. Yeah, that can happen too. But it's very effective, and it's actually very annoying for even the veteran players to go up against a group of guys that are working together. They may not be veteran players, they may be low battle rank, but the fact that it's 12 guys firing or supporting each other, working against one guy, he's just gonna leave. He's not gonna come back. Imagine if you're a vet player, battle rank 120, and you keep coming back to the tech plant 8 point. And there's like 12 guys, 12 noobs on the balcony, and they have a squad leader who knows what they're doing. He's gonna lose every single time. And after 2 or 3 times, he's not gonna come back. That's how intimidating it is when you have a group of guys working together and they're fighting against guys that have no organization. They just come in 2x2, 3x3. They're just gonna keep dying. And unless they group up, they come in as a force, they're not gonna make a difference.
And you guys have all seen it. You guys have probably seen it time and time again. If you were on last night, we defended a base in stages, over or underpopped against, and that was on BTYN, that was on the NC side of things. We defended one base, overpopped against us by 60% at one point, and we still managed to do it because of teamwork, right? We have also been in fights where we are holding the point and we are overpopped by, it doesn't have to be much. 60% is, a good number, anywhere between 52 to 60%.
Interrupt you for a second. We're gonna get kicked off this continent in 50 seconds.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. So essentially, yeah, I mean, overpop doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to lose. If you guys are working together, and it depends on the scenario, what building, what choke points, how you're shooting, that should help, right? But again, if you get overpopped, that's a good thing. That means what you're doing is what needs to be doing, right? The fact that they have to put so much effort and so many bodies into that solution, that is a good thing. That is a win in my book, okay? Even though it might suck. Does anybody else have any questions? We're gonna go to the continent that unlocks, just so everybody knows once we die here. But is
I do have one.
Okay, go for it, Bass, as we're trying to get into the recon.
We gotta go in there.
Indar?
Yep, go in there.
My question is, if we're already looking at the map of Indar, like, say we're going to assault the Indar excavation site for VS. Say we send one small squadron to, like, Indar comms and head back over to, like, Cormar Labs, or Cordral Med Labs, and pull Sundies and tanks and try to hold that position up there to pull their attention up there.
Okay, where's the question?
Well, is that an advised thing to do for said situations if it's like dead meat struggle?
Yeah, okay, so Saru is, you're trying to take into our excavation site, but you have an opportunity to attack into our comm and flank around all the way to Core Meds? Is that the scenario?
No, what I was kind of meaning was going... I used to do this with 382nd, used to help basically flank an enemy real bad.
Yep.
And basically what we would do is that I would take an infiltrator with a flash, ride over to Core Med Labs, hack the terminal, pull asunder, and then all of a sudden we have an entire platoon behind the enemy lines.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's the thing.
We might want to move off.
You, yeah, go to...
North pad.
Yeah,
Should
go...
be fine.
Put
Somewhere on the north pad.
So, yeah, and that's the thing. I want you guys... I'm not a genius. I don't think of everything. I don't think of the best plans at times. I don't even think outside the box as much as I wish I would. I do sometimes, but there are other times where I don't. So, if you can think of a plan like that, do it. Absolutely. Think outside the box. Don't think that you're limited to just where the base is. Indar excavation site has so many options for attacking it, approaching it, dropping on it, and all that jazz, right? So if you guys can do it, if you can think of it, great. If you can think of it and you're not the platoon or squad lead, suggest it at the same time, right? Make a suggestion. I am more than open to suggestions, but again, if I say no,
I can't wait until
don't take it personally.
New Empire specific weapon.
Yeah, so to just expand on that further, that's a great idea. That's something that we do occasionally, and especially when and another thing is sometimes when we attack Indar X, we will simultaneously, and this is something I like to do, especially, is if I want to take Indar X, sometimes I will attack the Haka Southern Post either first or in addition to split their pop. So, going to Core Med Labs is a risk, because they can choose to not engage you. You can't take Core Med Labs even though you're on that province. But if they have significant armored population in Undar X, and that's what's preventing you from moving up, as is a common scenario, then yes, that's a great idea. You just have to keep in mind that you're isolated. You're vulnerable to air assets because you're in enemy airspace, so it's a gambit. But yes, things like that, they're clever maneuvers. They're things that I wish I saw more in Planetside, because they're awesome to take part in, and they're awesome to try and counter. Things that think outside the box increase the fun for everyone. So yes, we encourage that kind of tactics. It's advanced tactics right there.
And fortune.
One thing I'd like to add.
I'll just say this, then you can add it. Fortune favors the bold. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that term or not, but it's so true. The more bold you can be, yeah, it's a risk. You might fail, but if it succeeds, it could succeed absolutely spectacularly. So don't limit yourself. Don't limit your imagination. Try and think outside the box. Yeah, there's going to be times where you're going to be tired, okay? And those times is times to possibly switch it off. But if you can try and think outside the box as much as possible, do it. And you'll know when I'm getting tired. When I'm getting tired, you guys will know, because things will become a little more zergy, and I won't be thinking outside the box as much. And then you guys will be able to help me at those moments, and or take over from me at those moments, right? Sorry, go for it.
I would just like to add, this is one thing you guys need to avoid when you guys are giving suggestions. Do not give suggestions that sound like you're undermining the platoon leader. That is the biggest no-no. If you see, for example, there are instances where I'm running the platoon and I can't see that there is a, for example, like crossroads watchtower is going down, stuff like that. Sometimes I don't see it, but most of the time I do see it. What you want to avoid is, if you're a squad leader or somebody in that platoon, you're trying to undermine the platoon leader by saying, hey, crossroads is going down, it's very important. And you keep repeating it. Don't do that. We do have platoon leaders that kind of know how to read the map. They do know what's important. And if you notice, I think when I was we were playing yesterday against the NC, I was keeping an eye on one heck, and I was pretty much informing Gino what's going on, but I never say it in a way that I'm questioning what we're doing at that big. Never do that, because if you start doing that, a lot of the players will start doubting the platoon leader, and once he loses that confidence, he's just going to flip out. The chain of command is just going to break down. If you do not like what's happening, speak up if you're getting farmed. Say, hey, platoon lead, we're getting farmed, or tell your squad leader, hey, squad leader, we're getting farmed here. Give that information to the squad leader so he can tell the platoon leader, and he can make that decision. Hey, you know what? The squad leader's gonna say, hey, you know, my squad members, they're just getting killed. You know, they're not making it towards the objective. I'm gonna move my squad to another position. The platoon leader would be able to react. Don't say, hey, you know, we're losing the biolab. We need to keep. Don't do that, because that is it just undermines the platoon leader. And if he's not a very experienced platoon leader, what's going to happen is he's going to lose that confidence, and when that happens, he's going to lose the entire platoon. So be respectful of who's ever in command. Okay, if you want to be a platoon leader, when the opportunity comes up, do it. If there's I asked, like earlier, I would run a good squad, and I asked, you know, anybody want to be a squad leader? I tell you guys, hey, you know, this is a good squad. You've seen us. We just took a base. We defended a base. Nobody would speak up, right? So if I give that opportunity, or Gino gives that opportunity, take command. If here's the thing, guys. I enjoy running the squads in platoon. If you guys want to run my squad, because this is what I'm doing now. If I have a good alpha squad and Bravo is starting to fill up, I will give somebody my alpha because it's a good squad, and I am going to build up Bravo. That way, all of my squad leaders, they have members who can follow order. But if you want to take a squad from my platoon because you want to do it, do it. Just simply say, hey, can I get Bravo or can I get Charlie? It's very easy. I'll give you the squad lead. But again, do not undermine the platoon leader because it will just drive them nuts, and it's going to get frustrating for them to be having somebody kind of like backseat platoon. Even when Gino is making a mistake, I make a little comment and I just pay attention to the matter. I give Gino the information that he needs to know.
Yeah.
But I never said it in a tone that makes it sound like I'm questioning what he's doing. Because at the end of the day, he's the platoon leader. I'm going to follow his command or I get kicked, right?
And that's the point.
That's the rule.
And the point, build on that, is when he's introducing it, he's leaving it for me to make the decision. So the decision is still mine, and that way people will still listen to that decision. So when he's presenting it, he's not saying, hey, we should be doing this instead. He's saying, hey, Gino, this is happening, and or, what do you think about this? And if I say yes or no, then it still becomes my idea, in a sense, and my plan, and my decision, right? And people will follow that because you're empowering your platoon leader in a situation like that versus trying to take power away from him, right? So it's just a matter of wording it. But, okay, so does anybody have any questions or comments about everything we talked about?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit more to that point.
Sure, go for it.
So, yeah, we talk a lot about not undermining authority, but it can be kind of difficult to tell exactly what that is. So let me define it pretty clearly. So, when you want to change the course of a platoon, you think that you know better, and this sometimes happens. So, you're there to make suggestions and point out problems, and you do this in a limited fashion. You don't do it multiple times, and if it's not being acted on, then you let it go. So, say, like, in the most grievous of circumstances, a platoon leader is just fucking up every time, and they're just not in it, and you want to take over, or you want to change the plan entirely. Send them a tell, or tell them in TeamSpeak. Let them make it seem like it's their idea. Like, if you want to take over the entire platoon, you send them a tell, and then that way, if they agree, yeah, I'm not on my game, I want to let them take over, so that they can keep their confidence, and the platoon can keep their confidence in that platoon lead, they basically then say, I'm going to take a break from platoon leading and hand it off, instead of, hey, you should give me platoon lead, I know I can pull us out of this situation, because that's not good. Because it's humiliating, and humiliation is really bad. For the outfit, it creates drama, it's terrible. So, yeah, don't make assertions when you're not the squad or platoon lead, because even as a squad leader, you're there to accomplish what the platoon leader wants to do. That's your job as a squad leader. You're basically his hands. If the hands don't do what the person wants them to do, they're useless.
Yeah. And so this applies even in a squad. If you have an idea and or you want to take over the squad, it's the same thing. It's transferable that way. But yeah, does anybody else have anything else about anything else we talked about, question-wise or comment-wise? Because we're gonna wrap it up right now, so that way we can actually get into some combat.
Sorry, Jan, I had a quick question about. I find I'm often confused, like when to keep galaxies up and things, because when I know it's important for logistics, but I find that the whole organization breaks down when all your squad leaders are sitting in galaxies. They can't see the points very well. They can't lead their troops around.
But that's why I'm trying to empower you guys to be leaders even when you're not in the position or the role, right? If you know your squad leader is up top, speak up. Become this executive squad leader, right? Or squad leaders can start just designating people that, hey, if I'm up here, you take over. I do that from time to time. But yeah, be confident in yourself to take that moment and lead, even though you're not technically the official squad leader, but in that freaking moment, you are, right? Because you're the guy on the ground. You can help keep people cohesive. You can help or your squad leader do his job. That's not undermining him, especially if you're making it, or you're asking your squad leader, hey, can I do this while you're up there? He's probably going to say yeah, unless he's got a brain tumor. So
I think I just want to point out to Squigglies. I actually did that. I think you were running. Or
you did do
was
that
running
for me
the tape.
earlier. I was gonna say.
Yeah,
really
you were
helpful.
flying the galaxy, right? And I was the one on the ground, so I started giving command to everybody on the ground because you couldn't see what was going on. I knew you would not have a chance to see it. But on that part, don't be the guy that's always flying the galaxy. You guys will always see this. I will always ask a volunteer and let somebody fly a galaxy for the team. It teaches them how to fly a galaxy. It gives them a boost of confidence. Hey, I got a special mission to do. So don't be just a squad leader and you're always automatically the gal pilot. We just request squad leaders to do that because most of the time our squad leaders, they know basically the response time is needed, so they do it quickly. Sometimes when we ask, it takes them about a minute and a half to figure out, hey, I'm supposed to go back to the warp gate right now and pull a galaxy. Sometimes they'll spend like 30 seconds trying to die. Well, sometimes we need that 30 second. That's why we just ask it for the squad leader. But designate. Don't be afraid to say, hey, or ask, hey, I need a volunteer. Somebody pull a galaxy from the warp gate.
Stop is quiet.
What was that, Gravity? I didn't hear what he said.
I have no idea.
No clue.
I think his thing just crapped out and he can't hear anybody right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay, so to build off on the other part of what you asked, when is it time to ditch them? So it's really going to be your call. Galaxies are vulnerable to air attack and from anti-air. Okay, so you're going to make the call at that point. I try and keep them up as long as possible, unless we have Sundays, and then I get them ditched, because I'd rather have that guy on the ground than have the galaxy right on top of the point, pretty much announcing to everybody, hey, we are over here, bring your air. And we could use the Sundays anyways, and the spawn beacons as well, right? There are moments where we go to a place and just ditch the gals right away. Those moments are pretty much to get everybody on the ground as fast as possible and to push points that we need to retake to defend a base a lot of times. Or if we need to just get over there and just, we don't want the gal at all. It's very rare in that sense, but yeah, I mean, squad leaders are people I know will get it instantly. If everybody in this platoon can be a leader in their own sense and step up at the right moments, like right away without even thinking about, maybe I'll wait for somebody else to do it. Like, you guys should be fighting over each other in a sense to do the jobs that we need done and to lead. Because that's how we're going to keep squads going. That's how we're going to keep gals up, get them going all the time, get the things we need in a much faster fashion so we can be way more competitive and way better in what we need to get done.
Gino, just FYI, Quartz Ridge is going down. We might want to respond to that.
Has anybody else got a question? Or do you guys want to get right into the fighting? I've got two people that apparently were way too bored and decided to get away from us right away after we switched. I am married. Yes, I have 2 kids, 1 on the way. They are years 4,
Congrats.
2, and 0. And I'm 30 years old, so...
You're a young.
You forgot your location.
I'm Canadian. I live in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada.
Address.
And your social security number.
It is 515.
Name of your first pet?
1, 2,
Sam.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Would you like my credit card number too? I don't stream anymore. I record. I just have been very slow on putting the recordings on. I don't stream because it was too choppy and I didn't like it. If I could upgrade my rig, I would definitely stream more. But the streams they get way too choppy, so it's not even enjoyable to watch. The recording seems to do better, so that's why I go for that. But I might try and stream it again at some point. We'll see. But the thing is, when I stream, I also record it at the same time because this Twitch only keeps it for so long, as far as I know. Yeah, and Yuna is also streaming. So getting the gals, I want you guys. I'm not going to be leading the platoon. I need somebody to volunteer to lead the platoon. I'm not even going to lead a squad because I want people to lead squads, and I kind of need a break from my voice and stuff right now. So who wants to do platoon? Who wants to lead for Bravo and Alpha? Actually, Squigglies, you keep Alpha because you need to practice. Territory, do you want to keep Bravo or do you want to pass it off?
I'll keep ahead of Bravo for right now.
Okay, Bravo is going to be territory. Who wants platoon?
I'm gonna take platoon, but I'm just gonna watch you guys and see if you guys can do the job. I'm gonna, do what Gino's trying to do. And move. I can read the map, so.
Okay, I'll be AFK just for a couple minutes because I gotta pee and I gotta get a drink. So Bravo just take off without me, and yeah, let's see how this goes. If you are not with the platoon, get with the freaking platoon. Alpha 4, we are B tier. We are not anybody else. Your team is your life. Get with them right now. I'll be right back.
Alpha Bravo, get a galaxy up in the air. Inbound platoon waypoint is objective ASAP. Drop what your guys are doing. Make your way towards the platoon waypoint. We need to resecure that bay.
I'm gonna have to get off for the night.